This story was passed down to me by my grandmother and uncles. My grandmother told me that in the old days, ghosts and evil spirits roamed freely, and many people had witnessed them with their own eyes. Back then, in my hometown, there was a canal people used to call Sam Li Canal. According to my grandmother, Sam Li Canal was quite long, but on both banks, there were no houses at all. Instead, the canal's edges were covered in thick trees, or fruit orchards owned by locals. The reason was, people believed it was haunted. They said, there were many ghosts and demons. And they had frightened a lot of people. One of those who encountered them was Granduncle Hallie, my grandmother's older brother. Because so many people had experienced these hauntings, stories of the supernatural spread quickly among the villagers. That's why no one dared to build houses along Sam Li Canal. Instead, everyone built homes around the fork, where the canal split. It looked like a Y-shaped junction. From that junction, the canal branched into two. And the surrounding area was densely populated. Among them was my grandmother's house, and the homes of other relatives. Since so many had seen spirits, very few people dared to travel along Sam Li Canal after dusk. Most only used it during the morning, or early afternoon. The story begins when Grandaunt Sam, my grandmother's older sister, suddenly fell gravely ill. Back then, traveling wasn't easy. Roads were rough, and there were no bridges, so people mostly traveled by canoe or volai, a small motorized boat used in the Mekong Delta. That time, the family used a volai to take Grandaunt Sam to the hospital. The doctors said her condition was too severe, and insisted on immediate hospitalization. From that point, the family took turns going to the hospital to care for her. But even after more than 2 weeks, her condition didn't improve. It only worsened. Eventually, Grandaunt Sam passed away at the hospital. Her son, Uncle Nha, immediately sent word back home to inform the family, so they could begin funeral preparations. Upon receiving the news, my grandmother quickly called her 2 sons, Uncle Tu and Uncle Sao, along with 2 sons of Grandaunt Sam. She gave them a volai, and handed over 2 straw mats. One was to lay on the bottom of the boat, as a base for the body. The other was to cover her remains. The only way to get to and from the hospital was through Sam Li Canal. There was no other route. They departed at noon, and the trip to the hospital went smoothly. When they arrived, they thought things would go quickly, but paperwork delays kept them waiting. By the time everything was done, and they finally brought Grandaunt Sam's body out to the boat, it was already around 5 p.m., and so, the terrifying journey of bringing Grandaunt Sam's body home began. At first, everything seemed normal, calm, uneventful. But everything changed as the volai approached Sam Li Canal. It was already twilight. Around 6 p.m., the sun was nearly gone, but it wasn't fully dark yet. On the boat, Uncle Nha was steering. My 2 uncles, Tu and Sao, sat at the front. Grandaunt Sam's 2 sons were near the back. Her body lay in the middle of the boat, just as they were about to turn into Sam Li Canal. Uncle Nha suddenly blurted out, "Oh God, it gives me the creeps going in here at this hour. Guys, this place feels seriously haunted." Hearing that, Uncle Sao quickly tried to calm him down. It's probably fine. There's a bunch of us here. Just go, it'll be okay." As soon as he said that, the volai turned into the canal. Then, a strange thumping sound began repeating, over and over. Startled, Uncle Nha instinctively looked around, trying to pinpoint the source. Then, as his eyes scanned the embankment, he gasped, "Oh my God! Look, it's demons! They're chasing us! They're coming after us!" The other uncles immediately turned their heads and froze in terror. There were 4 or 5 demonic figures sprinting along the canal bank. Even though it wasn't fully dark, they could see them clearly. Each one was pitch black from head to toe, except for their glowing red eyes. Some ran along the ground. Others leapt from tree to tree, agile like monkeys. They shrieked, howled, and let out terrifying, maniacal laughter. Everyone on the boat was gripped by fear. One uncle shouted, "Nha, turn out into the middle of the canal. Hurry!" At that moment, their boat was hugging the canal's edge. Uncle Nha tried to steer away, but the engine wouldn't budge. He shouted, "Oh God, the engine's locked up. I can't move it. It's stuck." Right then, Uncle Sao, sitting just behind him, looked down and froze. He saw one of those black demons, perched on the metal shaft, connected to the propeller. It was jet black, with blazing red eyes, just like the ones on land. Realizing what was happening, Uncle Sal yelled, "It's sitting on the shaft. That's why we can't steer." Then he turned and shouted, "Give me the paddle." There were always 2 paddles kept on the boat. One uncle handed one to Uncle Sal. He raised it, ready to strike the creature, but before he could swing, the demon suddenly leapt into the water. In that instant, Uncle Nha regained control. He steered the boat out into the middle of the canal. But even though they were far from the bank, they were still terrified. Because the demons were still chasing them, they could still hear the haunting, inhuman laughter echoing behind them. Some of the demons ran along the dirt embankment, while 2 or 3 others swung through the trees, hopping from branch to follow the boat. Each of them had those freakishly large, glowing red eyes, as if lit by fire. It was chilling to look at. Their howls, screams, and blood-curdling laughter pierced through the dusk, growing louder and more terrifying with every second. Everyone on the boat was frozen in fear. My uncle screamed in panic, "Nha! Hurry up! Go faster!" Uncle Nha tried his best to speed up, but that was as fast as the Volai could go. Each of them gripped a paddle tightly, just in case the demons tried to leap onto the boat. But strangely, the demons didn't jump on board. They just kept chasing along the banks, clinging to the trees, screaming and howling like mad beasts. Their maniacal laughter echoed across the night air. Darkness soon fell completely, and everything became more terrifying. The uncles tried to encourage him, "Keep going. We're almost at the fork. Just a little more." And finally, as the Volai emerged at the river fork, they realized the demons were gone. The pounding footsteps along the ground vanished. Only their laughter lingered, faint and distant, until it, too, faded away. The demons had disappeared completely. Everyone let out a long, exhausted sigh of relief. After a while, they made it home, but their bodies still trembled from fear. The Volai's engine was loud, so the people waiting at home had heard it from afar. They ran out to the riverbank, shouting, "They're back! They're back!" As the boat pulled in, the crowd rushed forward, asking, "Why are you guys so late?" "It's already dark." One uncle, still shaking, replied, "The paperwork at the hospital. It took too long, and, oh God, I'm still shaking." The people on shore asked, "Shaking? Why? What happened? You passed through Sam Li Canal, didn't you? Wasn't it creepy as hell?" Then Uncle Sal spoke up, "Creepy? Of course it was creepy. We saw them, they chased us." But my grandmother quickly interrupted, "All right, enough. Let's get Grandaunt Sam's body inside and prepared for burial. We're already very late. Save the stories for later." Following her orders, they tied the boat to the dock. Then the 4 uncles removed the mat covering Grandaunt Sam's body. Just as they were about to lift her out, something terrifying happened. The moment they touched her body, it moved. Then, slowly, her arms began to rise. Both arms stretched straight up toward the sky. It looked exactly like a scene out of a Chinese zombie movie. Everyone screamed. The 4 uncles were so horrified. They dropped the body back into the boat and leapt into the river to escape. On shore, relatives and neighbors scattered in panic. Some people ran back into their homes and slammed the doors shut. Others ran deep into the yard to hide. My grandmother was so frightened, her legs went stiff. She couldn't run at all. Her body just froze. Uncle Tu and Uncle Sal ran to her side, stammering, "Mom, what's happening? Did Aunt Sam come back to life?" Trembling, Grandma begged, "Help me inside. My legs are locked up. I can't move." The uncles rushed to support her. Everyone else ran inside too, peeking out nervously. Outside, Grandaunt Sam's body still lay in the boat, with both arms raised stiffly toward the sky. Nobody dared go near. The crowd whispered, "What's going on? Did she come back to life?" Someone muttered, "I don't know, but it looks terrifying. Should we check?" Everyone held their breath, watching from afar, but the body remained completely still, and so, they just stood there, watching in the dark. By now, it was completely night, around 7:30 or 8 p.m. Still, no movement from the body, just those stiff, outstretched arms. Then, finally, Granduncle Hallie spoke. "I think it's just the stiffness. Her tendons probably tensed up because of the engine vibration and the wind. That's all. She didn't come back to life." He urged everyone, "Come on, let's bring her in and get her clean." We can't just leave her like this forever. Hearing that, the crowd slowly moved outside again. Neighbors who'd been hiding, now cautiously came out too. They approached the boat, and looked down. Grandad Sam was still lying, arms stretched stiffly to the sky. Just as before, someone said, "Let's just lift her up. We still need to clean her, change her clothes, and place her in the coffin." So, the 4 family members mustered their courage, got down into the boat, Dot and carried her body inside. She made no further movement. They laid her on a bed. In the front room, Granduncle Hallie looked at her and said, "Her arms are still raised. How do we dress her like this?" He suggested, "Rub her down with wine. Maybe her muscles will relax. Then we can fold her arms." Everyone helped. Even Grandma joined in to clean the body. And sure enough, they were able to lower her arms. Everything seemed normal again. People finally began to focus on the funeral. But while they were still cleaning the body, Grandma turned to the uncles and asked, "What did you see out there? What chased you?" That's when they finally recounted everything. How they were chased by demons through Canal. After hearing the story, Granduncle Hallie immediately chimed in, "Oh my God, it's true. The rumors are true. You only believe it now because you saw it for yourself. But me? I had an experience too. I once went casting fishing nets at the entrance of Canal. I didn't even dare go deep inside. While I was working, I suddenly heard laughter. Then I looked up and saw a pitch-black figure leap from the bank into the water. The splash was so huge. I thought my boat would capsize. Then, it swam to the boat, grabbed the front, and started shaking it violently, like I was riding a horse at full gallop. I panicked, dove into the water, swam to shore, and abandoned the boat." Granduncle Hallie concluded, "That was my own haunting. But you guys, you went at night. Next time, don't ever go through Canal after dark." As everyone was still discussing these eerie events, in the middle of preparing the body, with the air already heavy and cold, Grandma suddenly screamed, "Hey, everyone, look!" Everyone jumped in shock. What happened?" Grandma stammered. "I think." She groaned. "I just heard her groan." The room fell dead silent. And then, they all heard it too. A faint groaning sound came from Grandad Sam's mouth. Terrified, Grandma threw down the cloth, jumped back from the bed and backed away. The other women did the same. They all huddled together, eyes locked on the body that now seemed not quite dead. At that moment, the body began to convulse, shaking uncontrollably on the bed. Her mouth groaned again and again. Huh. That was the last straw. Everyone panicked. They scattered in all directions. Neighbors ran back to their homes and slammed their doors. Family members fled into the yard. Some even strayed into the street. Grandad Sam was left alone in the house, her body still twitching and jerking violently. Then suddenly, she stood upright. Her arms remained stiff, pressed to her sides. She didn't walk, she began to hop in place, just like a Chinese hopping vampire. And each hop was incredibly high, nearly 50 centimeters off the ground. Everyone who saw it turned pale, frozen in terror. But it didn't stop there. From the bedroom, a sudden burst of maniacal laughter rang out. Ha! 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 Then from the kitchen, pots and pans were tossed around, clanging violently, followed by even more demonic laughter. Meanwhile, Grandad Sam continued hopping non-stop in the main room. It was like a scene straight out of a nightmare. Everyone watching felt like wetting themselves from fear. No one dared step back inside. In the middle of this chaos, Granduncle Hallie, shaking with fear, shouted, "Someone go get Master Fifth. Go fetch him. This is too much." Immediately, 2 uncles took the volei and raced off into the night. For the next 40 agonizing minutes, the nightmare continued. Grandad Sam kept hopping, the demonic laughter echoed throughout the house, and no one dared step inside. Finally, Master Fifth arrived, a highly respected exorcist known for his power. He stood in the yard, looked into the house, and calmly said, "Good grief. They're going wild tonight. What a night this is." Grandma, crying, begged him, "Master, my sister has gotten up. She was dead, but now she's hopping around. We can't even put her in a coffin. Is she alive again? This is terrifying." Master Fifth shook his head. "No, she didn't come back to life. What's happening is, her body has been possessed by a vengeful spirit, a demon. Right now, there are 2 demons in this house. One has possessed Grandad Sam's body, the other is roaming the house. It just ran from the bedroom to the kitchen." and now it's perched on the ceiling beam, smirking at me. He paused, then asked, "You passed through Sam Li Canal, didn't you?" Everyone nodded. Master Fifth confirmed, "That's it. These are the spirits from Sam Li Canal. Because you passed through their territory with her body. They followed you, and now, they've taken over. Now go prepare an altar. Pick me 3 mulberry branches." One uncle ran off to find them. Others scrambled to light incense and prepare candles. Master Fifth opened his ritual satchel, then told someone, "Go borrow a cup of water from the neighbor." No one should enter the house yet. Once he had the water, he began to chant an incantation. Then he took a mouthful of the water and sprayed it onto the 3 mulberry branches. Once everything was prepared, Master Fifth called over 6 young men, all strong and brave. Except for Uncle Nha, Granddad Sam's son, whose spirit was said to be weak. He was told to stay out. Master Fifth split them into 2 groups of 3. Each group was handed one of the blessed mulberry branches. He said firmly, "You 3, take this branch. You 3, take this one. I'll hold the last one and stay at the front door. Now listen carefully. You 3, go into the bedroom. You 3, go down to the kitchen. If you sense anything, even if it's just a presence or a black shadow, just start swinging. Even if you're hitting nothing but air, just keep swinging. Don't hesitate. Don't be scared. You guys in the kitchen, same thing. If you see it on the ceiling beam or anywhere, swing at it. We have to drive out the one hiding in the back of the house before we deal with the one possessing Granddad Sam." Terrified, but encouraged by his words, the 6 men took a deep breath and stepped into the house, through the front door. They hugged the wall as they moved, avoiding the center, because Granddad Sam was still hopping on the bed, groaning, "Huh, huh?" 3 of them moved into the bedroom. 3 went toward the kitchen. Then, following Master Fifth's booming voice from the yard, they began swinging their branches wildly, furiously beating the air, walls, and doorways, hoping to strike the invisible force. Suddenly, a dark shadow darted from the bedroom to the kitchen. Master Fifth roared, "It's in the kitchen now. You 3, attack." The 3 men chased after the shadow, swinging wildly. Then, it leapt onto the ceiling beam and manifested into a terrifying form. A black demon, with glowing red eyes, wild tangled hair, and grotesque fangs. The sight was so horrifying. One of the men collapsed from shock, fainting on the spot. But Master Fifth shouted, "Don't stop. Keep hitting it. Get a chair and climb up if you have to." One of the men snapped out of it, grabbed a stool, climbed up, and stretched out his mulberry branch toward the demon's leg. Ah! The demon shrieked and pulled its leg back. The smell of burnt flesh filled the air. The 3 men from the bedroom rushed out to help. Surrounded, and relentlessly struck, the demon let out one final, blood-curdling scream. Og hhhhh. Then, it suddenly burst into a wisp of black smoke, and shot out the back door like a missile. It flew across the rice fields, and wherever it passed, the rice flattened in a perfect line, as if crushed by something invisible and massive. The uncles shouted in panic, "Master Fifth!" It flew out back. It flattened the rice. Master Fifth nodded, calmly, "Good. Let it go for now. We'll catch it later." Having driven out the first demon, the 5 remaining uncles, carrying the one who had fainted, regrouped outside. Now came the hardest part, confronting the demon that had possessed Granddad Sam's body. Master Fifth turned to Uncle Nha and warned, "Leave the house now. Your spirit is too light. If I force the spirit out, it might jump into you instead. Hide somewhere else. Don't hang around here." Grandma urged him to. "Go to Uncle Hallie's house, son. Don't stay here." Reluctantly, Uncle Nha obeyed, but stayed close enough to listen. Then, Master Fifth pointed toward Uncle then, Granddad Sam's biological son, and gave him a chilling command. "Once I finish the ritual, you'll climb onto the bed, move behind your mother, and hold her tight, so I can finish the next step." The sight before them was beyond belief. Granddad Sam's body continued bouncing on the bed, her feet barely touching the mattress before she launched up again. All the while, her mouth groaned, "Huh, huh." Uncle then stepped back in fear. He stammered, "Oh master, I can't do that. She's hopping like that. Even if she's my mom, she looks terrifying. Please, can we do something else?" Master Fifth stood firm. "You must do it. If you don't, something worse will happen. Push through the fear. Trust me." Then, with a trace of dry humor, "Go take a leak first. Better that, than wetting yourself out of fear." Relatives tried to encourage him, Come on, son. What else can we do? She's not herself anymore. You're the only one who can do this. Be brave. You can do it. Still trembling, Uncle then finally nodded. All right. I'll try. I'll do my best. What else can I do? With his agreement, Master Fifth began the ritual. He instructed everyone to step back and stay clear, not wanting the crowd's energy to interfere. By now, the yard was packed, neighbors, family, strangers, all watching, breath held. Master Fifth lit incense. He began to chant, low, rhythmic, steady. The air turned thick, like it was humming with electricity. It was close to midnight, exactly 12 a.m. Then, he gave a subtle nod, and from his satchel pulled out a spiritual seal. That was the signal. Summoning every ounce of courage, Uncle then climbed onto the bed. Grandaunt Sam was still bouncing violently, her arms locked, her eyes blank, her mouth groaning. He slipped behind her, wrapped his arms tightly around her torso. Suddenly, Og H. A scream erupted from her mouth, deep, unearthly, chilling to the bone. Everyone outside heard it. Some covered their ears. Others wept in fear. Master Fifth roared, hold her tight. Don't let go. Then, the unthinkable happened. There was a loud snap, rop. Her head twisted completely, 180 degrees, and stared straight into Uncle Then's face. He gasped. His knees buckled, but he didn't let go. Master Fifth shouted again, don't be scared. It's okay. Hang in there. He leapt onto the bed, raised the seal, and slammed it onto her head. Thud. Grandaunt Sam convulsed, thrashing like a beast possessed. Her legs kicked, her back arched, her mouth let out a twisted, guttural growl. Master Fifth pinned her down, shouting, push her down flat. Now, Uncle then pushed with all his strength. They forced her face down on the mattress, but because her head had twisted back, her face still stared upward toward the ceiling. Without hesitating, Master Fifth slammed another seal, this time directly onto her forehead. It stuck and glowed faintly in the dark. At that exact moment, a stream of black smoke burst from the top of her head, spiraling into the air like a twisting shadow. Master Fifth immediately let go, rushed out onto the porch, and pulled a small jar from his pocket, placing it firmly on the ground. Just then, he spotted Uncle Nha peeking from behind the trees. Despite being told to hide, curiosity had pulled him back. Master Fifth snapped, you again? I told you to leave. Go, now. Grandma rushed over, shouting, get inside. What if it jumps into you? She shoved him toward Granduncle Hallie's house and only returned once he was gone. Master Fifth turned to the group and said urgently, stay alert. Something's about to come out. He handed a mulberry branch to an uncle, eyes sharp. If you see anything fly out, strike it. No hesitation. The uncle nodded, pale and shaking. Why yes, Master, I will. Back inside, the room was silent. Grandaunt Sam's body lay face down, head still twisted, unnaturally so. Master Fifth gently reached under her chin, and snapped it back into place, crack. The sound echoed like breaking bone. He began chanting again, slowly, steadily. Then, with full force, whack. He struck her forehead one last time with the seal. A hiss followed, SSSSSS shish. Then, from the shadows, a giant black cat leapt out, its eyes blazing red, its body rippling like liquid smoke. That's IT, Master Fifth shouted. That's the spirit. Hit IT, now. The uncle at the door braced himself, gripped the mulberry branch tight. The cat lunged straight toward him. Master Fifth screamed, strike. As the black cat lunged forward, the uncle at the door swung the mulberry branch with full force, whack. The strike landed right in front of it, loud, sharp, and bone-cracking. Instantly, the cat vanished. It dissolved into a swirling puff of black smoke, which was sucked straight down into the jar Master Fifth had prepared. Without a second's delay, he rushed over, pulled out a red cloth, and slammed it over the jar's mouth. Then pressed a talisman seal on top, firmly locking it shut. He stood up slowly, let out a deep, long sigh, and whispered, it's done. Everyone turned to look at Grandaunt Sam's body and saw stillness. No more twitching, no more groaning, just silence. Relief swept through the entire crowd. Moments ago, she had been a monster. Now, just a body, finally at peace. Master Fifth turned and explained, that spirit was the leader. A vengeful soul, not just any ghost, but a gang boss, so to speak. The one that got away. I'll track it down, but for now, the worst is over. Someone asked quietly, Master, can we go back inside? He nodded. Yes, but hear me well, bury her immediately. No ceremony, no guests. Just prepare the coffin and bury her tomorrow morning, early. And so, that night, they followed his instructions, prepared the coffin, held no funeral, and buried her quietly the next morning before sunrise. Some people say it sounds like a ghost movie. Maybe it does, but everyone who was there still remembers every second of it. But we must remember, this story reportedly took place decades ago, during a time when belief in spirits and demons was widespread. Back then, people used to say, there were more ghosts than there were living people. So maybe, in those days, such things weren't entirely impossible after all.